If your one true love or mortal enemy moves more than 5,000 miles away, at some point you're just going to have to get on with your life. Jamie,
Yes.
let's go watch The Karate Kid Part 2. Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Good Times, Great Movies. We're an 80s movie podcast. Every other week, we watch a movie from the 80s, and then we talk about that movie. I'm one of your two hosts. My name is Doug McCambridge, and with you, or me, with us, as always.
Together, collaboratively.
With me, as always, is Jamie Lorello.
I have my little drum, and I'm just kicking it side to side.
You don't use
side
one
to
hand,
side.
just use both. That's a lot of
Oh,
work.
yeah.
That's a lot of wrist action there. You're
That
gonna
is
hurt
a lot
yourself.
of wrist action. Yeah, you're right. It's better to just, like, you're warming the hands, you're warming the drum.
I like how Mr. Miyagi made it seem like it's a big deal. He's like, this thing passed down generation, and everybody at that party has one. It's like, oh, you should
They just
buy
gave
these
them all
anywhere.
out, yeah.
Did you get them at the airport when you landed, I guess?
I thought they were going to smash it when the
Yep.
mean guy who takes his shirt off, I thought he was going to smash the drum at one point. I was like, no, that's Miyagi's from,
There's
like...
6 little feet there. Nobody just stomped on that thing on their way out?
No. I thought they would. They messed up his dojo later on, broke all his bonsai trees, but they left his family drum heirloom intact.
Back to, we were talking about it earlier, back to the guy taking his shirt off. That was, do you think that when he took his shirt off, he threw it back at her and he said, here's another one for your collection. I was like, is she constantly making this guy take his shirt off? Like, is she just into
Well,
this dude?
I wondered, because she let out a sigh. I don't know. Is it that at one point but then she says later on, like, he's always been like that since we were kids. But did she used to collect his shirt? Like, at some point, did she have a little crush on him and she was into
I don't know. Why would you put that line in this
wearing his
movie?
shirts?
It makes no sense.
I don't
It's like,
know.
oh, she's always throwing stuff at me and ruining my shirt, so I have to take them off. Oh, she just wants to see this. She wants to get, Ralph Macchio a little intimidated by this guy. I think it's her whole thing. And she's the only woman in this village under the age of 57.
Yeah, this is true. This is
Except
true.
for those random children. I was like, whose kids are these? Everyone's
And-
ancient in this village.
Who's the kid that climbs the light pole? Who tells a kid to climb a light pole during a typhoon?
I thought she was up in the bell tower. I thought it was that child's job to warn people of a typhoon. And I
Well,
was
she
like,
did a
who
terrible
gives
job.
a 7-year-old that responsibility? But again, everybody in this town, super elderly.
Yeah, it's an old town, and it's been taken over. I mean, Daniel couldn't even find it in the book. He was so obsessed, he couldn't even find it. It's not on the map. What's up? I
Daniel's
don't
so
even see it.
insufferable on that plane ride.
Oh,
This
yeah.
poor old man is just trying to nap. And he's just like, hey, I've been learning a lot about your village. I just can't find it on the map. What's it like over there? Dude, look at this map. I can't find it. Did you know there's the largest airbase in the U.S. is on that island?
Miyagi's
Did you know that
just
it's
trying
there
to
in Okinawa?
snooze.
It's like,
He's
wow.
just trying to catch a couple Z's on this long ass flight. They've got the nice seat next to them is open so he could stretch out a bit. But Daniel don't care.
He could easily just move over. And this kid, he's just tagging along too. Like, I was like, oh, Mr. Miyagi. He almost had, I know it's not a vacation, but he almost had a little bit of time away from this kid.
No, and well, he was adding an extension onto his home. He was that. I like what he is like. I'm taking in a refugee. Oh yeah, a refugee from where?
Great.
From
I'm
Reseda.
building a house for some refugees. That's really
Yeah.
great. Is this teaching me something like wax on, wax off? This whole hammering technique? Nope. You're just building an addition.
No, it was teaching him that focus, Daniel-san, and
Okay.
breath. Breath is everything. I took so much in from Miyagi's teachings throughout this movie. I felt more grounded.
I am glad that you felt that way because as a kid, the first one was very important to me. Like, I really enjoyed it. I saw it in the theaters.
Yeah.
I left the theater thinking I knew karate. Suddenly,
You did.
Yes, of course.
You're like, I've got this.
Like, oh yeah, you just put your hands in the air like a weirdo, and you stand on one leg and you kick somebody, and they go down immediately. I could do that, I guess.
You could do it. You could focus. Did you practice the moves in your yard? Did you really think that you were? Did you ever take a karate class? Like, were you
no,
no,
never.
Okay,
No.
Okay, so it didn't follow through in that way. Did
No.
you practice at
I was
home?
afraid to fight people. Like I was. Anytime I thought about karate as like an extracurricular, I would think they probably do it to fight each other. I don't want to do that. Like
You
I
didn't
don't want
to
to
get involved in that.
I don't want to
Combat
wrestle.
was not
I
your
don't-
thing.
No, contact sports are not my thing.
Yeah.
No.
Okay, it's all right. So back away. But after the first Karate Kid,
I was empowered.
you were empowered. Okay, beautiful. Beautiful. And I could see why. Because again, like I had said this earlier, I was sort of ashamed isn't the right word, surprised in some ways at how much about the Karate Kid I didn't remember. I mean, of course, you remember the last move and the, you know, I remember the guy being evil, but there was things I didn't remember, and the little bit of flashbacks that this movie provided, I was like, wow, I really just, I don't even know Karate Kid.
Yeah, I don't know that I've seen the first one, all the way through since the theater. I've caught bits and pieces on, of course, TBS.
No, that's where it's at.
But
Commercials and all.
it's like, it's over 2 hours. And most of it, from what I remember, is just him being bullied. So I don't want to say that's all the movie is, but...
Well, there's going to be
don't
some
know.
training involved, too. Lots of his training and
Yeah, I
right?
guess. I really don't remember. It's been so long since I've seen it, and I'm
good.
not...
Then I don't feel so bad. Feel
Yeah,
so bad about
I'm not in a hurry to
remembering
go
this.
back and watch it.
Okay, fair enough. But,
I mean,
well, I guess we don't want to.
I'm not trying to spoil my thoughts of this movie, but watching Karate Kid Part 2, I was like, I think I'm good. I think I'm good now. You know,
Okay.
I haven't seen a Karate Kid in a very long time, and I'm fine. I don't.
This was
really...
a good Karate Kid, though, to see, yeah?
I think it was.
Yeah.
I enjoy. Okay, let's just spoil it.
Let's
I
just do it.
enjoyed the Karate Old Man. I enjoyed that. That's kind of what this movie was. Like,
yes, me too. Me too.
we already watched him get bullied. Like I said, for over 2 hours in that first one. I enjoyed following Pat Morita around.
I agree. And the emotional range that he has. Very well done in this movie.
When
So
he's
sad
holding
about
back tears, it's like,
Yeah.
this is some great Pat Morita acting
Twice.
right now.
There's one time when Daniel-san is trying to console him and telling him how did his father die too? Wasn't there that brought up? I think in Karate Kid 1.
Yes, yeah, because it was
Probably.
just he and his mother, who's not
Yes.
in this one either. I
No,
was just
no.
like, oh, Elizabeth Shue and my mom, you know those characters. We don't need to talk to them.
We don't know. We don't need to see them. No, we have a new love interest coming in here, and Mom's not going to travel. She gave the okay for the travel, and she also talked to Miyagi. He says, you know, I also talked to your mom, and I know she's got this job that she's got to move in like 2 days. Isn't that the thing? All right, so let's
Yeah,
get into it.
2
Let's get into it
days.
because we kind of are. We kind of are.
I got a job. It's almost like the mom in Mac and Me. She's like, I gotta go. I gotta go. I gotta start this job tomorrow. It's at Sears. I don't know what I'm doing. I think I'm just selling things. I don't know why we had to move for this job. I like how put out he is. The whole first movie is him being like, oh, I had to leave New Jersey to come to stinky California. And the moment we meet him in here, he's like, oh, I gotta go to Fresno now. I'm like, all right.
Yeah,
relax,
he is. He's
kid.
totally put out. He's totally put out. But Miyagi's got a sweet pad. Even the mailman who comes by to deliver the letter is so into the backyard.
What was this going
Remember
on?
when he's like, hey, can I bring my wife over later to like check this out? I was like,
Did
Mailman.
that guy, was he the actual mailman? Did he just wander onto the Karate Kid set? Like,
I definitely feel like the actor was like, I'm going to milk it. I'm just going to add some extra lines. Say, hey, this is a great backyard. Hey, here's your letter. Hey, my wife really likes plants. Hey.
You wouldn't
And
know
it
this
was like,
place is so
buddy.
nice from looking at it from the outside. And I love how he emerges from the guest house that's being built. I don't know how he got there. And what makes it even better is that Mr. Miyagi and Daniel ignore him. Nobody
Yeah.
acknowledges that he's there, and he's just going through his lines.
That's why I don't think he was supposed to say it. I think he was just supposed to like bring the
Right.
letter because
Yep.
it's a certified for mail from, and then walk away. And this guy was like, "I'm capitalizing on this shit. I'm going to
Yeah.
say as much as I could say till the camera cuts me out."
And I imagine the editors just watching this going, there's no way I can edit this without it looking ridiculous. This guy came in hard and he did not stop talking. I can't cut this. What'd you do? One take? All right. I guess we got to use it.
This is it. This is it. We got the mailman with 5 extra lines.
Oh my
We'll
God.
take
That,
it.
I could not believe what I was watching when that mailman showed up. It's like, I hope this is the whole movie. Because right before the mailman comes, it's the end of the tournament out in the parking lot. And you also
Yes.
see some guy who looks like he stepped out of 1975 with that giant collar just
Oh,
talking
yeah.
to Daniel. And he's like, hey, man, that was a really great fight. Why is that guy such an asshole? Oh, such a creep, man.
He
Can I
doesn't
have your
understand
autograph?"
karate.
I was like,
Yeah.
Who are these people? The extras in this movie are
It-
great.
they are. They are. I do like how it picks right up,
Yes.
where, for the most part, it picks right up where the other one left off, right after the tournament happened.
Right.
And we do get a little flashback. They show us that last scene, which I needed to see. I was like, yeah, look at that. That was great because Miyagi was kind of with Daniel-san when he did the final kick, and the knee thing was a thing that the enemy was going to do to kind of take him down. And the recap was nice. I just thought it was an extended recap because what's this beginning when they're first at Miyagi's and Daniel kind of tucks Miyagi into bed, but then looks at his Purple Heart or his.
Yep,
He looks at
his
some
medal.
medal that he has.
Yeah.
That's not a flashback, right? Is that?
I think it is.
Oh.
Now, again, it's been a long time, but it's almost like they just picked the scenes that have something to do with the second movie. Like, that's not a
I
scene that's
see.
worth anything, really. I think, and here's another question I had, and I don't want to bring too much of Karate Kid 1 into this because I hadn't seen it in a while.
Yeah, I won't have
You're
answers.
pretty sure you've never seen it. But Mr. Miyagi talks about how he had a wife and he had a child and they died.
Yeah.
And I think they died in like the internment camps, the World War II internment camps here. So I guess those medals have to do with his service and that, but that's when I was wondering later on with this woman and everything, how she's like, I never married and I always waited for you. And how have you been? And Mr. Miyagi, I was like, is he super uncomfortable? Like, yeah, I married a woman. I had a kid. I did all this. Have you just been waiting this whole time? Or-
Yeah.
Like-
You should have maybe lived your life a little. She has a niece, so she's doing okay, who seems to take care of her. And then she stood by his dad, because she's the one then taking care of his father.
Yes. This poor woman
That's an
seems to have
interesting
had a
arrangement.
very sad life. Where, I mean, the whole thing about this is Mr. Miyagi is not a coward. Everybody calls him a coward, but he left because he doesn't want to. He could have killed his best friend. He didn't want to do that.
That's right. Even Daniel brings this up because Miyagi was trained by his father. It's part of this lineage that he was trained.
Right.
And Miyagi's best friend was also trained by his father.
Right. And that's a bit of convenient screenwriting because a big thing about the first one is Mr. Miyagi's like, listen, this technique, it's only passed down from father to son. My
Right.
son died. You, Daniel, are like my son, and blah, blah, blah.
Yes,
And I love how in this
yes.
one it's like, by the way, there was
Yeah.
also this other guy who
Sometimes.
conveniently also knows this stuff.
Yeah, I thought that was a
A little something.
I thought maybe they were going to say, I thought that was going to be the other big reveal when he's saying, because Miyagi tells the story. So Miyagi gets this letter, as we said, the mailman. First, Miyagi is building this guest house, which I hope he finishes it because it looks like it's going to be nice.
Sorry, I don't want to stop you, but can we go back to
Go.
after the tournament, the fight in the parking lot?
Oh, yeah,
'Cause
yeah,
that's
yeah.
pretty
yeah.
fun.
No, yeah, of course. Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, that's pretty great. Yeah.
Yeah, because Kreese, I think his name's Kreese, the
The
evil
bad
Cobra
guy?
Kai
Yeah.
dojo master, trainer,
I
whatever
think
you
he's
call
the
them. in
trainer
karate.
master. Yeah. Yeah.
I like how he's beating up his own student. Johnny called
He
him
is
a
such an
loser.
angry guy. He's so angry. He calls his second place as losing. He beats him up. He slaps another one of the guys. in
He
the
slaps
face.
and pushes so many
Yeah.
of the students around.
He's so angry. And I just, watching him, I was like, is nobody going to stop this adult male from just beating up in the parking lot on all his kids?
Because there are so many people. They walk out of this tournament and it's like a high school football game had just happened.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
there are so many people in this parking lot.
People
Nobody's-
are asking Daniel for autographs. Daniel has a limp, obviously, at the end of this, at the end of the tournament. And he, for a little while, when they first get to Japan, he's limping too. But the limp doesn't last long.
Oh, how about the butts in the showers? I was like, whoa, hold on a second here. Teenage butts?
Why are we talking strategy in the shower? Why was that scene even taking place there? Like, it's just this weird shower scene that happens where Daniel's in the shower, Miyagi's outside the shower room, like
Right.
it's a shower area, not just. And
Yeah.
it's all to have the conversation where Daniel wants to have a strategy behind his winnings and his whole thing.
There
That's
was
it.
no reason for this other than like,
A little butt.
Ralph
Little butt
Macchio
action.
at his prime, and 12-year-old girls are like, maybe he'll turn around, maybe we'll see some Macchio
Little
butt in this movie.
tushy.
He doesn't.
Tushy,
You see
tushy.
tons of
No,
butts all around him, but not his.
Not his.
Sad. I mean, I don't want to sound too bummed out by that, but anyway,
Bummed because it's
Bummed.
a butt. Get it? Yeah. Uh huh.
nobody's gonna stop this guy except for this elderly Mr. Miyagi decides to stop it.
Well, because
And-
he knows he can.
And I think this will come up at the end of the movie because I thought the whole point of this movie is violence is a bad thing, so never hit anyone. Because what does Mr. Miyagi do? He kind of just moves out of his way and lets the guy fuck up his hands.
I love it. The guy, not once, but twice, punches out a car window on either side of him.
Straight on. And Mr. Miyagi just like steps out of the way casually and his hand goes right through car windows.
And then Miyagi gets the upper hand,
Yes.
but he doesn't take it. You don't need to kill him. Violence isn't the answer. Forgiveness. Forgiveness is the answer.
Is it forgiveness or just a nose honk?
How hysterical is that?
I always found that super silly. I do like Mr. Miyagi doing it more than Daniel doing it.
But I think it's cute that Daniel does it too there at the end and then looks up at Miyagi like, I'm using all your moves now.
Yep.
Chief,
I stole
master."
everything from you, Mr.
Yeah.
Miyagi. That guy was really upset that I took away his honor. I just honked his nose. There's a good chance he'll murder me later. He'll shoot me with a gun.
I'm gonna use that nose honk thing all the time when things get tense. That's how we should solve this racial problem we're having in the United States. Just go around. Cops should honk your nose if they have
Yes.
an issue with you.
That
That's
is how
it
you
should go
diffuse
down.
a situation. You honk their nose, and then they fall over, pretty much.
No,
You
then
both-
it's all like you're like, I can't be mad at you. You're honking my nose, or I can't disobey you. You've honked my nose.
Right?
No harm, no foul. Let's bring back the nose honk. No more chokeholds. Let's bring back the nose honk.
So like you said, this is at the very end of the first movie, and they were supposed to film this for the first movie. Like this is actually how the first one was supposed to end, but they didn't film it because they were like, well, they probably realized that it
epic
would
ending.
it would take the gravity
Yeah.
of the situation and kind of end on a more silly note, a nose honking
Sure.
note. Hint, hint. Maybe that'll happen in this movie. And then we get a 6 months later.
We're just gonna fast forward. So now we know. We know where we're at. And 6 months later, Miyagi has finally caught his fly that he's trying to catch with his chopsticks. And,
Doesn't seem as excited as I thought he'd be. Finally
No,
catches
he-
it and he's like, look at that. Let's
yeah. Shows you what Mr. Miyagi see. He works so hard, and then there you go.
It kind of is because in the flashback, I think he says like, well, once you catch a fly, it's all downhill from there or something. I forget the piece of advice that he gives, but it is almost like this weird like, I've done it all now.
Now I've done that, so there you have it. Daniel shows up with his busted up car in a sharp blue suit. Like, who dressed him for his prom?
I don't know.
Apparently, his girlfriend or ex-girlfriend, Elizabeth Shue, wrecked his car and ran off with a quarterback for UCLA.
This is a horrible thing to happen to this love interest from the first one. This first movie is all about, I need Elizabeth Shue. I'm going to get this girl. He finally wins her. At the end of his tournament, they're like, let's go out to dinner. It'll be so great. Your mom and I were so happy for you. And this movie basically starts with him going, you know who's a big sack of crap? Elizabeth Shue.
Well, she kind of is if he just won and she just dumped him just like that. Like,
At prom, I guess. At
Yeah.
prom, she's like, sorry, doofus. Also, I wrecked your car. I'm banging
Yeah.
some football player.
not into you anymore. Moved on.
Listen, I understand. You have to get her out of the way because there's a new love interest. Fine. We can't have him be the bad guy, like cheating on
Yeah,
his
that
girlfriend
he's-
or anything
right,
like
right.
that. But couldn't it just be like,
She had to
we
go away
talked
to
about it.
college. Yeah.
Right. We're both going away to college at different places. We thought it would be best. That's fine. It is such a bizarre thing to do to this character. But do you know the real reason why Elizabeth Shue was not in this?
Because
She-
of why?
Oh, go ahead.
No,
She had
I
to
don't.
finish her degree at Harvard.
Oh, they
Yeah.
should have said that she was moving on to go to school, and that's why they didn't want to keep the distance in their relationship.
Yeah. He should have said, like, she's at Harvard, she's studying. Right now,
Yeah.
she's studying abroad. She's studying, like, chimpanzees or something. We'll see how all that works out. I think she might be in England. Because everybody, go back, see our episode on Link to understand anything that we just talked about.
It's a good one, though. It's worth it. When he comes back and he's at Miyagi's, Miyagi is building something in his backyard.
Mm-hmm.
Turns out it's another part. It's a guest house of sorts because, like we said, Daniel is upset. Not only has his prom date, his girlfriend left him and his car wrecked, but his mom got a new job, and now they're going to have to leave
Right.
where they live in the next 2 days. But Miyagi's there to help solve it, and they're going to build this guest house.
Doesn't Mr. Miyagi say, I spoke to your mom and so you can stay in my guest house? But
Mm-hmm.
was he starting to build that guest house before he talked to his mom?
No, I think he just makes quick work of things. You know,
Oh.
it's Miyagi's.
You think his mom called and was like, listen, he is in a mood. His
Yeah.
girlfriend dumped him. I got to take him to Fresno. Miyagi, you got to help me out here.
What are you going to do? What are you going to do? Well, no, she was probably called him to say, we're going to have to leave, and Daniel's going
Yeah.
to take it hard. And Miyagi said, well, he can stay with me if you need him to. I'll just build a guest house here because I ain't sharing any extra space with a teenage boy, that's for sure. They can
Oh
be a
my
little
God,
stinky.
no. Right.
Yeah, Miyagi knows. Miyagi knows. Miyagi does a nice little lesson with the hammer and shows him
Mm-hmm.
how to stay focused and just get that nail in with one big hammer in there.
Tap,
they do a
tap,
nice
hammer.
breathing exercise in
Yep.
and out, reminding you that your breath is what's going to keep you. Daniel is frazzled by all this. He can't focus. He can't
course.
hammer anything. What do you want me to do? But this nice breath technique that Miyagi teaches him levels
Mm-hmm.
him right out. He's feeling good enough to ignore the mailman, as we said, when he comes.
And you said that you think that he's teaching him something with this hammering of the nails. I think that Mr. Miyagi is like a Japanese Huck Finn. He's like, I can get free labor. All I have to do is BS this kid about some breathing and teach him how to hammer nails. I made him paint fences and do all sorts of stuff in one. He'll do anything I ask him to. Like, I really was waiting for the reveal to be like, well, what was that supposed to teach me? He's like, it was supposed to build you a home, kid. That's all.
It's
That's all it was.
just teaching you how to build a home. Yeah, when the mailman came by and said how great the backyard was, Miyagi should have been like, well, look, hire this guy. He's done most of the work.
Hire this guy. He'll do it for free if you tell him it's about karate. But no, that's not the case. Mr. Miyagi gets a letter that basically says his father is not doing well. His father is sick.
Yeah.
And then Mr. Miyagi has to sit down with Daniel and give him a whole bunch of backstory, stuff
Well-
he hasn't already told him about his life.
No, and that Daniel needs to know to catch him up. Like, for instance, why he left Okinawa. It was because of, we said there was this fight that had happened. There was a girl he was in love with, but she was supposed to, is that right, that she was arranged marriage to his best friend?
Yeah, I was a little confused too. But yes, she was arranged to be married to his best friend. At one point, I thought he said, but we got married anyway. And then
Yeah, I
later
thought
went,
so too.
I don't think I heard that right, but you heard the same thing?
Yeah, I thought
Oh,
that they
okay.
ended up getting married anyway, but then, yeah, or they maybe,
Yeah, it was a little bit confusing. But what I think was he was in love with her, she was in love with him. It was an arranged marriage. His friend got all upset about this, so challenged him to a duel to the death.
for honor.
He skipped
serious
town.
thing. Yeah.
He's like, I am out of here.
Yeah, I'm not trying to die for anybody.
And the whole time, his friend thinks it's because he's a big wimp and he's a coward, but really it's because Mr. Miyagi's the greatest fighter ever, and he would have murdered his best friend, and he
Yeah.
didn't want to do that.
And he didn't want to do it, so he thought the best thing to do was just to take his boat out of Okinawa and sail on.
Is this when he tells him about the first of the Miyagis? Oh, that's later.
No, that's
a
later
great
when they're
story
in the
about that guy.
dojo.
That is such a great story.
Yeah.
He loved to fish. He also loved sake. Basically, he went out to fish and he woke up in China. I was like, what? Wow. Okay. I love that story, Mr. Miyagi.
So Miyagi's got to go. He's got to go. He's got
He
a
gets a
long flight.
passport. Like, why are they in line? And
I don't know.
Daniel's there going like, why do you need a passport in one day? And the guy in front of him appears to be reading a dictionary. Did you see the book that
Yeah,
guy's
it's
holding?
giant.
It's like an atlas or something.
It's a long line for the passport, but Miyagi's got
Yes.
patience for days.
Yeah. I was like, why are we getting a passport? Like, do we need this as viewers?
It's like the shower scene. Why do we have to have the discussion in the shower? Why do we have to stand online at the passport place? Can't we just know that he's got to have a passport to leave the country? There was no hang-ups about the passport. There was no questioning about the passport.
The beginning of this movie is crazy. Like, we're only about 15, 20 minutes into this. Most of it's been a recap of one. We saw a crazy mailman, and already we've talked about two scenes that did not need to be in this movie.
Yeah, that we're like, what's happening? Yeah, well, because then once we get out of the States, it's nice. So yeah, they go to the passport place, but now they go to the airport, and Miyagi first Miyagi gets in a cab, of course. Now, when he gets in the cab, he's waiting.
He's waiting for
like-
Daniel because Daniel says, hey, I'll be back tomorrow morning to say goodbye.
Oh,
Yes.
okay.
And then you see Daniel, like, come back to the house, and you see in his eye, like, wait a minute. Maybe I could go with him. And he, like, sneaks away.
Well, he's got some savings. I guess maybe he wants some tournament money.
I guess.
Because when he meets Miyagi, and they are boarding the flight. They're not like at checkpoint or whatever. They're boarding the flight. And Miyagi's like, it's an expensive ticket. How'd you get the cash for it? And he's like, don't worry, I had some saved up and I used it.
It's a whole thing because Miyagi's like, but wait, that's your college money. Well, don't worry about that. I don't need college money. When we
You're
get
more
back,
important
I can
than
get
college.
a job. You're more important than college. I can get a job.
Yeah.
I'll wait 6 months.
Yeah.
It's not a big deal.
I like he says, I want to learn more about your country. I've been studying it. And they're all like, he's like, really? You have been? He's like, well, I mean, I just picked up a book when we were at the passport place.
It's of a book. I saw a guy reading a book. It's called
Yeah.
Okinawa, so it must have something to do with this place. Let me sit on this plane ride and bother you for this whole 24-hour flight
He
or
really
whatever.
does. Miyagi is so patient with him because he does it though. Miyagi at one point just tells him, doesn't he? Just like,
Yeah.
let's just sleep.
He's like, go to
Shut up.
sleep. Go to sleep. Meaning,
Yeah.
I'm trying to go to sleep here.
What is this poster when they arrive in?
Oh, shit. This guy's poster in the airport?
Yes.
What kind of advertising is that?
And it doesn't really look like him. It's like a glammed up version of him, right? I was like,
It's his head on someone else's body, I'm sure.
yeah.
But it is funny how he's like, hey, there's that guy you're telling me
Yeah.
about. That horrible guy? He's on this poster right here in the airport.
Yeah, yeah. And what does Miyagi say? Wasn't he like, oh yeah, these airports weren't here when I left? And
Yeah, it's a whole... I mean, first of all, it's been 45 years. I
Yeah.
can't imagine how much has changed. But at every turn, Daniel's just shocked by all of this. Oh, do you know how to get to your place from the airport here? No. Well, how are we going to find out? If you and your BFF fought, who would be the referee? Do you think it would be your dad? Do you think he would have done that? Like, oh my gosh, shut up. You're so annoying. How do you know who wins if there's no referee? Oh, you kill each other? Okay.
does he has so many questions.
So they are picked up at the airport by a
Oh, right.
Japanese hunk.
Well, with gold chains and everything.
The little sparkly earring that he's got.
Uh-huh.
Kind of love that.
He claims to be a car service for
Right,
And
yes.
even Miyagi's like, car service? How did you know?
Did you like it how after they get in the car, Mr. Miyagi asks one question, he answers it, and then they sit in silence for what seems like 30 seconds. Where I was even like, is this scene supposed to end right now?
Yeah.
What are we
Moving on.
doing? But clearly they've been kidnapped. Like,
Yep.
clearly they have been kidnapped.
Yeah, for as smart as Miyagi is, he wasn't too smart about this.
No. And they are taken to what appears to be like an abandoned hangar?
Like a warehouse of
abandoned-
some kind?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then Sato, his rival. or
He's
his
an
old-
angry guy. He is
He's-
so angry.
so angry. And I don't... How did he know he was... Like... Not
He
how did
even
he know he
says,
was
"How did
coming."
you know?
Yeah. That plane, that day, that time, he knew all about this.
Well, and I think he even says something like, your father was sick and I knew that you would come for him because, he's your father. Doesn't have any sympathy at all about his father being sick.
No.
And basically is like, you're here, you could go see your dad, and then I'm going to kill you.
Totally kill you. P.S. I just threw all your luggage on the ground here. Now I'm going to get in the car that brought you here and drive away. And even Daniel's like, oh, what do we do now?
Yeah, he's like, how are we
She's
going to
like,
get to there?
I don't know, get a cab. All right, calm down, Daniel. It's fine.
Yeah.
People are constantly wanting to murder me here in my hometown.
This is per usual.
Ugh.
They do get to go back to the island or the little town. Excuse
Yeah,
me.
the
They
little town.
finally find the way to his town, and it is Daniel saw it in his book that an Air Force
Yeah, just like a U.S. base.
has taken over. So it's very loud there now, and the island I keep calling it an island, but the village is just seems even sadder and tinier than it was before Miyagi left.
It seems so sad. Like they're on what appears to be an airplane runway. And the
Yeah.
guy's like, just drive around that corner. And the camera pans up and you see that there's just like a bunch of houses leading to this airport.
But it's good to see when Miyagi
Mm-hmm.
arrives. He does. I like it when he sees his father and the door kind of swings open and there's Miyagi and a little wind kind of blows his face and his dad's laying there. And there's his little lady friend too,
Yep.
sitting right next to the dad.
Well, first we do meet
Kimoko.
Kimoko?
Yeah, the
Yeah.
niece.
So she's hot stuff. And she's like, oh, my hair. It's like I really don't
My
care. that
big
it's-
messy
it's
bun.
It's the messiest. It's so windswept all the time. But that's just who I am. You know?
I want to be a dancer, even though I've never really,
I want to be a dancer. Even though they don't allow that here, so I guess I've never danced. But that's what I want to do.
Well, she does. She does that little 50s dance with him, and she does that part of that fan dance.
I know
And
that
then
he could dance as well as I was kind of
hey.
impressed with Ralph Macchio.
Yeah, he had
just
some fun
cutting a
moves
rug.
he busted out.
I love how mopey he was when they walked into this place, but he just needed to dance it out.
Yeah. Oh, and then he felt so much better.
This
And
is great.
She was like, "Do you feel better?" Oh, so much
Oh,
better.
so much better. That's all I needed. This was great. Why is everything so American here? I feel right at home. You don't even play Japanese movies on your TVs. This is so great. I want to live here. Oh my God. So yeah, Mr. Miyagi is reunited with his past love and they talk over his dying father.
No.
And they can't even speak Japanese. Like his
I know
dad
they
speaks
didn't.
Japanese. Like they're talking to each other and they speak English. And I was
English.
like,
Yeah.
I think we could read some subtitles. I know it's PG.
I
but
would have
come
taken.
on.
I would have taken a subtitle or two just to know that. Yeah, these two are
Yeah.
having their reconnection. I agree.
Yeah, it would have been maybe a little more intimate that way, but I get it, but I didn't like it.
Yeah. Instead, we have to listen to them fake talk broken English to each other.
I know. I was like, your accents are so heavy. Just go right into
Yeah,
it.
just do it.
go
Just do it.
full
We want it.
Japanese. Yes. And all of his like cute colloquialisms that Kamiko's like, what, we are already on the road. After a
Oh,
while, I was
yeah.
like, okay, let's stop this. Let's just stop this. I don't like it. This woman, what is her name, the older woman?
No, I forget. I just call her his lady friend.
All right,
in my
so
notes.
Miyagi's lady friend, she lets her know a few things here.
Yeah.
She's like, I've always known where you've lived. I've been keeping tabs on you, I
Yeah.
guess. Like,
Yeah.
it is, and she's never gotten remarried.
She never got remarried. Yeah.
Right, she
that's
never
something to
married
share.
Soto, but also, like, never married anyone else?
No.
Like, what do you...
Just
like,
I think she just took care of his dad. once
I
he
know that's
left.
so sad. Like, that is so sad for her. To know that Mr. Miyagi went to America, got married, had a kid, was living
Has a
it up.
great
What
little house in California. Yeah.
great house on a wonderfully surprisingly large estate, and this woman has just been caring for his elderly father, hoping someday that he'd come home.
I know when he's like, "How can I help?" At the end, when he's like, "How can I help you not hurt so much?" She's like, "God damn it, just take me with you,
Right,
like
yes.
you should have done in the beginning."
Yes. She's like, do I have to spell this out for you? I thought that's why you came here, to take me away. What are you doing? Connect that guest house to your house. We can make it bigger, enough
Yeah.
room for both of us.
It'll be lovely. My niece can come. It'll be great, and that's I think what ended up happening. But anyway, Miyagi gives Daniel a nice little tour of his town.
Yes.
Including the dojo, the family dojo, which is very nice, and the secret Miyagi family karate, which has 2
Right.
rules, and they're hung up.
I have a question about these rules. So the first rule is karate is for defense only. And the second rule is learn
rule number
one, which is like, okay, that's not what it says, right? Like, he's just telling Daniel, he's like, listen, before you know rule number 2, figure that one out. Or do you think that's actually what that says?
I think
'Cause
that they
sounds like a
really
big
stand by
joke.
that. I think they really stand by that. I think they
All right,
feel that
okay.
it is just. That's why it's so weird. If this lunatic with this revenge guy has
Soto. Let's call him Soto.
Okay, so if Soto was really properly trained
Mm-hmm.
by Miyagi's dad, he would know the rules. He would know that it's
Right.
not just about the. So what the hell?
I don't know.
And 45 years of this grudge? Like, let it go, bro. Let it go.
Totally let it go. Like, you're the most powerful man. You can buy and sell everyone in this village. I'm not saying money should make you happy, but you haven't married either. Just to spite that woman, just marry somebody.
Just marry several. Have some, try, whatever you
Right.
gotta do, boss.
I don't
No.
know. Because like you said, this whole thing is like, you insulted my honor, so now I have to kill you, and my honor is everything, and my honor...
I think
Well-
they misinterpret the honor and what the other people are going to think about the honor. Because even the nephew, the evil nephew, is like he zip lines in there at the end.
Oh my
He's like,
God.
You've dishonored me. All these people think bad. No, they'll think worse of you, you dum dum.
Yes.
And you're the one that didn't help him save the kid off the lightning pole. You're the one that made yourself look dumb.
Right, exactly. Plus, you've been ripping these people off, and they found out about it. After that, like, just go out and pretend to help this girl. It'll win you a few points.
Right.
The end. Plus,
Yeah.
you're jacked as shit. Like, go out there. You could bring her back on that pole. He could have ripped that out of the ground and
Yep.
run back with it. I love how when Daniel's climbing it, how it's comically falling apart in these bits and pieces.
And at one point, it looks like Daniel's going to fall back on it. He's like, oh no.
Yeah, at one point I was just like, is it now just a ladder sticking straight out of the ground, not anchored by
I
anything?
just want to know why the damn girl climbed the light pole. Like, really? That's what you do for safety? Underground, not on top, and not near wires.
I blame the school teacher for this.
She seemed a
Also,
little chaotic.
in that Okinawa book, did they talk about how horrible the weather is at all? Did
No.
Daniel should have been like, hey, I also hear this place is prone to typhoons and hurricanes and
Things
tsunamis.
We better get out before one hits, right? And if they're on the base, how come nobody at the base was helping them out? There's no helicopters flying through. It's like they're left on their own.
Yeah.
Anyway, questions.
I don't know.
Questions.
Doesn't anybody listen to the radio? Like, couldn't
Oh,
somebody
yeah.
say there might be a huge storm coming this way?
Yeah, couldn't they have seen that coming? Yeah, because they're having their nice tea time, and then all of a sudden, like, the candle goes out, and she's like, we are in big shit. We gotta
Oh my
run.
God. That tea time, which is basically a sex scene in this movie.
The softest sex scene.
Oh,
though.
yeah, no, of course. I mean, you can't. It's a PG movie. You can't have these two kids bang it out. But this is
But
like
she
the
does.
closest they get.
She does slowly mix the tea together and tap tap tap. Folds the napkin with one finger.
Yep. Mhm.
Very
Then she's finally
erotic.
like, this bun, I have had enough
Yeah,
of it.
we're releasing the bun. The hair is coming down.
Her hair's so messy through this whole movie.
It
I,
is.
like at
I always
every
just
turn,
want to wipe it from her face. Like,
Yes!
just do one of these.
At every turn, I was like, "Is this late in the day? Has she really been through it at this point?" But no, first thing in the morning, late
No,
at night,
She likes a messy
at a
bun look.
sock hop.
Oh, yeah, even at the sock hop, she's got the messy bun look. I wondered why she bought him a shirt. Now I know why.
Yeah, what? Wait, hold on. You know why? Because I don't know why.
Well, she brings him the shirt because they've got to dress like little 50s friends. She's got the skirt on, so she brings him like one of those 50s style shirts.
Okay, I just thought she brought him the red shirt, and while he's dancing, I was like, "Where's that red shirt?" But he's got like this button-up vest on over top of it. I didn't see her with the vest, but how about her comically rusty car? I love that thing. So much rust on that car.
Well, she lives near the ocean. She lives near the water.
Right.
It's hard to keep.
Oh, I also love how he's walking around showing him the whole village, and I love how they go to that guy with the guitar, and he's he's been playing that same song every day for 45 years. I was like, wow, this is depressing. You think it's quaint, I think it's super sad.
And he plays it for the children.
Uh-huh.
There's a traditional bone dance they do here in this village.
Say that again?
Bone dance.
I didn't catch that.
Bone dance.
No, I know what you're saying. I don't know what you're talking about.
You don't know the bone dance? That's what they do at the end. That's why they all get together at that castle, is to do the bone dance.
Okay. I guess I never heard anyone say the words bone dance.
Yeah, that's what they call it. That's what she teaches him, too. She dances the bone dance with him.
Isn't it like a fan dance? But they call it a bone dance?
Yeah, she does it with the kids, and then she does it. She teaches him it, and then when they go after the big fight, that's the thing, is they want to go to the castle. Before the big fight. Sorry, that's the whole reason.
Do the bone dance.
Yeah.
Huh. Sorry, I guess I wasn't paying attention because I knew that
you looked so confused.
No,
I didn't make that up.
I knew the dance that she did for him outside with no props was the same dance as she did with fans later.
Yeah.
I didn't know she was doing that same dance with the kids because they're like twirling in a circle.
I think it's all
right.
Relative. And it relates to the drum somehow, too.
Okay. I didn't know it was called a bone dance. Now I know.
And it's about it's like a Day of the Dead thing.
Oh, wait. That does sound familiar now.
All right. Now it's coming back.
Okay.
Huh?
Yeah. Day of the Dead. Yeah. Because somebody says, somebody says bone dance. And Daniel's like, Day of the Dead. I just read about that in that book last night.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Okay. This is where Sato shows up.
In the town.
And, his evil nephew, that guy's name is Shozen. And again, I don't know why this dude bothers to wear a shirt. It's unbuttoned down to his belt, basically, all the time. And Sato's like, hey, you saw your dad, right? Yeah, let's fight right now.
Yeah, that's right.
But luckily, Yuki, that's his lady friend. I wrote her name down here.
Oh, nice.
She interrupts and she's like, hey, your dad wants to see both of you boys right now.
And they hustle through the village.
Yeah.
To see the dad.
I kind of thought this was super adorable. Like, how he makes them hold hands before he dies.
But it doesn't change Soto's mind or whatever. No. He's still just laser focused. Yeah, it's sweet. He makes them hold hands, and then he dies right there after they hold hands.
It's so sad. And basically, Soto's like, fine, I'll kick your ass in 3 days.
He's like, I'll give you 3 days to grieve. Yes. And then you die with your dad.
Yeah. Again, this guy needs to deal with this in some other way. It's
not helping. It's not helping.
So they do the lantern ceremony where they light the
very
little lanterns.
Sweet.
And
put it out into the water.
Mm-hmm. And Daniel, for as much as I'm beating up on Ralph Macchio in this movie, because he's kind of he's not the main focus. Like, they kind of forget about him till the end when they're like, oh, yeah, I guess he has to fight somebody too.
Yeah.
I do like it when he goes to comfort him.
They have a very sweet moment. And it's beautiful, too. They're watching the sunset, I think it's the sun setting. They're on this little island. Miyagi is just looking out. He's looked at some old pictures, and now he's just, like, taking it in. And Daniel's really sweet. He's like, when my dad died, I had some regrets, and I thought maybe I could have been a better son. And man, Miyagi's just his eyes are tearing up.
Yes.
It's beautiful.
Oh,
It's beautiful.
it's so good. Because Daniel's like, but I knew that I did the right thing because I was there with him, just like you were with your father. Like, it's really great. And the camera just stays on them, too.
Yeah.
And Mr. Miyagi doesn't have to deliver a line in this scene. He just has to listen to Daniel talk, which is great. But yeah, he's like holding back these tears, but his eyes are so red. It's really, really great.
It is. It's very sweet. It's very sweet. Why did I write this down? Best way to avoid the punch is don't be there.
That is called the drum technique.
Oh, there you go.
It's the main thing. It's like the crane kick in the first one, but not nearly as exciting because it's just kind of like, remember how that guy was going to punch me and then he ended up punching car windows? Guess what I did? I just moved.
I just moved right in time, but I'll show you where I learned this was because this giant, where are they at the...
Like at a cannery, like at a fish, because he says, he's like, oh yeah, we used to be a bunch of, we used to be a village of fishermen, and then Soto came in and, he put us all out of fishing business because he brought in big boats and...
Now we're farmers and not fishermen.
Right, yes. But he takes him to, I guess, the old fish cannery where he used to work. That was like his first job.
He also had his first date there with his lady friend.
Yeah, and I was like, what kind of date is like, what are you doing there?
Imagine young Mr. Miyagi. I like that there's no real kissing. They have tea and stuff, but there's no smooches and nothing like that with Miyagi and his lady friend. Just the tea.
Yeah. I mean, they could have kissed. Like, there's no reason for that not to happen in this movie.
Because they're older couple. Okay. Older people don't kiss.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that. I'm learning so much. Bone dance. Old people don't kiss. Got it. Done.
Put them in the notebook. Journal about it.
So he's got like these gigantic hooks on ropes.
Dangerous. Yeah.
Super dangerous.
And you just swing them across, and they could kill you. They could maim you.
They could, but if you're Mr. Miyagi, you turn slightly and you're fine. If you're Daniel, even though Mr. Miyagi puts a comically gigantic cork on the end of this thing, so he won't get him in the guts, he drops immediately. He can't seem to turn sideways and falls into the water.
Not quick enough. Not like the drum. It's a good lesson, though. I like it. Daniel is very determined. He wants to do it even after he falls off the second time. So he tries it again and rips his shirt. And Miyagi's like, I did the same thing when I was a boy. My father.
You could have killed yourself. What are you going to do? And I love how Daniel's like, is there another move or something? Like,
is there something else?
And even Mr. Miyagi's like, just ask the drum, and walks away. And Daniel's like turning sideways. And then Mr. Miyagi pokes his head around the corner and is like, ask the drum later, we have to go. Daniel helps an elderly man pick up carrots that fell all over the ground.
Yeah.
I was confused by this part because Shozen, the hunky nephew, he's using weights to weigh the produce, the vegetables that these people picked, to compensate them. And somehow Daniel realizes that he's been ripping them off because he picks up a weight and there's like tape over it or something. And he's like, wait, what's this stuff here? And everybody flips out and I was like, what? Wait, what?
The whole village goes crazy. The fight starts out, right?
Yes.
They just, all of them instantly.
What did he discover? Like, did this guy just tape over the real numbers of the weight? Like
something
the actual
suspicious.
Weight?
I don't know.
Just put tape over it and was like, yeah, this is 10 pounds. Like, I did not understand what was happening.
I think it was just another way for them to get into more tension.
It was another way for him to dishonor this poor guy.
Yes.
I assume this guy's life was going great until Daniel showed up.
Yeah, Daniel showed up and he's like, oh great, this handsome American.
Yeah, this handsome American stealing the only girl my age in the village. I mean, I could just go to Okinawa, which seems next door, and it seems like a giant city.
Do they walk there? They walk there, right?
They drive her rusty car.
Oh, that's right. They drive the rusty, and then they just walk around for a long time.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, how about Mr. Miyagi singing to this woman?
Singing? See, this is where I don't know. Did he sing to the woman?
Yeah,
Yeah.
you don't see him sing, but you hear him singing, and then like the camera pans over just as he stops, and she's like, "Oh, I haven't heard you sing that song in so
Oh,
long."
yes,
And he's
yes.
like, "It's adorable. It really is
Miyagi.
adorable."
He is adorable.
And this is where they're having their little flirtations inside the house,
Yeah.
and Daniel and Kamiko are having some flirty dialogue outside.
Right.
This is where she teaches him the bone dance.
Yes, it's the bone dance.
And he calls it terrific, and I went, that wasn't terrific. I don't know if you know what terrific means.
Yeah.
She kind of just moved her arms
Yeah.
and swayed her hips a little bit, and then said, imagine that I'm holding a fan. And he's like, that was terrific.
You're such a good dancer, he tells her. And I'm like, well, I don't know that that's her best dance move, but all right.
Yeah, you showed those kids how to play Ring Around the Rosie, and now you did this? You're like a professional
You're
ballerina.
super. You're like, you should be a Rockette. You're amazing.
The nephew shows up again, and he calls Daniel a geisha because he sees Daniel dancing around.
Oh, yeah.
And this is where, as we said, Yukimo throws a tomato at him because
Yes.
she wants him to take his shirt off, and he does. He obliges.
He humbly, yeah.
Yeah. Throws it back because it's part of her collection of shirts. That's why she should have shown up with one of his shirts. Maybe that was
Oh,
his
yeah,
shirt.
maybe
but
that
she
was
just
one of
did-
his shirts. Maybe that's how she gets. Maybe that's how she gets people to go to the dances with her. She gives out his shirts.
Yeah, I needed a scene of her in her home looking at all these shirts that she has pinned on the wall and going, the red one, and just choosing it
That's
for
the
him.
one I'll take to Daniel. There you go.
It'll be extra insulting when Shozen sees him wearing one of his shirts. That's the one I spilled coffee on that one day at the cafe
Yeah,
when I wanted
only
to
the
take it
things-
off
right.
in public.
Stain is still there. I don't care. This is when they do their run. Don't they run to the to the castle, and then they go to town?
Oh, man, yeah. Well, you say they run to a castle. I say they run to a green screen and look at some B-roll.
yeah.
It looks terrible. This movie appears to be shot. It was shot in Hawaii, but I don't know. Hawaii is the Japan of the U.S., I guess. But everything seems to be shot pretty much on location. Like, there are some scenes where those guys are breaking the plants and stuff where it's like, okay, this is on a soundstage.
Oh,
But
yeah.
a lot of the exterior stuff looks really great. This looked like garbage, especially when they get to like the top of the hill and they're looking down
Looking
at
down
it.
at it. Yeah.
It's like,
yeah.
that looks like a sandcastle that some kid built right next to them.
But it's the castle that used to be like the peace part of the town or something. Like the ruler there was a peaceful man.
Yeah.
But again, Soto
it's-
ruined this too.
Right, because he's selling off parts of it to like a museum or something.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. And I love how they're up on this cliff looking down at this. Their eye line's all messed up too. Like, I don't know what they're looking at. And then
Oh, and
she
the
turns
man-
around. Yeah, she turns around and is like, get out of here. And this guy basically comes up and is like, yeah, dang, kids, get out of here.
Just shoos them away and that's it. Doesn't chase them or anything and they're just, that's it. That's the end of that.
That's it. Now we're in Okinawa.
Now we're in town. We're in the city, the big city.
And he's talking to her like she is a mentally challenged child at this point because they go to the store where the TVs are and he's like, "Oh, this you want to look at a TV? Is this what we're here to do? An electronics store?" I was like, "What are you doing?
No,
Why are you talking to her?"
He
like
says
that?
to her, he asks her, what is it that you want to do with the rest of your life? And she says, I'm going to show you. And she takes him to this TV store. So he's like, okay, yeah, a little bit.
You want
Like
to
a-
work here?
yeah.
You want to sell TVs? Is that what you want to do? And I love how she shows up because I think she knows what time they play Fame.
Yeah, I guess.
On the local radio or on the local television station. And I loved it. I had to pause this, and as you know, I had to text you.
Yeah, I saw you. Yep.
Because when I saw Leroy, I was like, wait, I think that was Fame. I had to turn it back.
Yeah, yeah.
And that was the
Was that
where
Leroy?
where the blonde dancer who later has the abortion. Remember that scene? Where
Oh,
she's
yeah,
in
yeah,
a
yeah.
quote unquote hospital.
But it looks more like somebody's foyer.
Guys, go back and listen to our Fame episode too. That was so much fun.
This is another good one. That was another good one.
But I was happy that Fame was in here. Oh, also some random dude runs up to them in the street and he's like, hey, you come to the big dance?
Oh, yeah.
Also, bring
no,
your
that
friend
random
here.
dude. He's an actor. He's on Law and Order SVU.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Do you have like an alert set? I don't know how you would do this on your TV if somebody's in Law and Order. Does something appear over their heads? Or does your TV just go bum when someone is in Law and Order?
It makes that noise. Dun dun.
Okay. Both of us are doing a terrible job of that noise. Oh, also this woman that plays Kumiko, she's in a ton of stuff. Look at her. If you have not looked at her IMDb, look at it. It is crazy extensive. And she's like in stuff now. She does video game voices. She does cartoon voices. She's
Good
been in
for her.
you name a television show between 1986 and now, she's been in it. Has she been in ER?
That, though.
Yes. Has she been on, like, according to Jim, probably. Maybe a stint on Roseanne, possibly. She's in everything. Yeah.
Good for her.
Yeah.
Good. I have no problem with her. You have a problem with her messy hair, but I have no problem with her. Oh, while they're in town, while they're in the big city, there's a couple of little adventures besides getting to watch Fame.
Yep.
They see Soto Dojo, and he sees what a good fighter the nephew is, because he's basically just kicking ass in the dojo.
Okay, that's what I'm confused about, because he looks in there, and I thought this was the nephew. Basically, also just teaching white people. Did you notice that? Every guy in this class is just a white guy.
Yeah.
But they literally walk across the street to the bar, and then he's there.
Yeah, he just
like
walks
immediately.
in there.
So then I was like, maybe that wasn't him teaching the class, but I thought it was. Just like
I thought it was because I thought that's why she was like, we have to go because he's going to see us. And you don't want to piss him off. And then before they go in the bar, she's like, you don't want to go in there. This is not a good place. And Daniel's like, come on, let's go. And he walks right in.
What's this place? What's this rowdy place all about?
And it's I guess it's like a little bar, and they're competing and they're breaking ice.
It's just like a bunch of GIs from the base, I guess, trying to break sheets of ice. Of course, Ralph Macchio, being, the little prick that he is standing there critiquing these guys and being like, well, you can't stand like that. If you stand like that, you got to put your body. And he's like trying to impress her.
It's not about the wrist. It's more about what's in your mind. Yeah.
And when the guy turns around, he's like, you want to try it? He's suddenly like, well, I don't know if I can do that.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm not sure. But it escalates very quickly.
Well, and everyone shows up very quickly.
Yeah.
Like before we know it, like you said, the angry nephew is there.
Yep.
And it's like, no, you will break the ice. We're going to break the ice. They are both so angry. Whenever they talk, it's so aggressive, him and the Uncle Soto.
Angry.
And then Miyagi shows up, and he's like, because Daniel's like, no, I really don't want to. I'm going to respectfully decline. I can't. I'm just hanging here, and no, I don't want to. And Miyagi's like, no, you do want to, and you're going to really be good at it. You wait and see. I'm going to
Miyagi
put
shows
money
up
down
not
on
to
it.
save him, but to be like, oh, yeah, I'll bet on you.
Yeah, I'll put
this is
$600
great.
on you. And again, they use American money, I guess, but that's fine.
They're in a bar full of Americans.
Americans.
Soldiers,
Okay,
whatever.
fair enough.
But
then Soto shows up too, and he's like, yes, this is a legitimate deal. I'm gonna even bet extra. Oh, because Miyagi puts down 600, and the evil nephew is like, I don't have that kind of money. I mean, I was just gonna bet. And
I can cover that. And like out of the shadows, Soto's like, I can cover. I was like, all right, let's get the band back together at this bar. We're all here.
We're
let's
all
do
here,
this.
right? Just to
And
watch.
it's kind of anticlimactic. I don't know how you make ice breaking all that exciting, but it's not really all that exciting.
Well, Daniel at first is really not sure he can do it. He's like, I don't know. I mean, can I do this? And Miyagi's like, you're going to focus and I'm going to pray. And that's what we're going to do. And my lady friend's going to look really worried right next to me the whole time. But it's going to work out. You'll see. Sure enough, Daniel breaks it. It's amazing.
He breaks it.
And that angry nephew is so angry now.
Well, he's got $1,200, and even Mr. Miyagi's like, got your college tuition right here. And my thought was, $1,200 in the mid '80s probably could get you like 2 years in a state school.
Yeah, I bet he did okay with that. No lie.
And Mr. Miyagi, this Soto guy or Sato. this guy wants to murder you. And Mr. Miyagi kind of talks some shit on him as he grabs the
Yeah,
money. He's
yeah.
like, yeah, that's how you do it. Done. I'm like,
Yeah.
all right, this guy is going to kill you in 2 days. Could you calm down a little bit here?
Yeah, why don't you cool your jets a little there,
Yes.
Miyogs? Getting all cocky over there.
So, how about this part of this movie, which I thought was strange, played for laughs, where Mr. Miyagi tells Daniel to drop a rag on the floor, and then Mr. Miyagi goes to pick it up and pretends to punch him in the nuts. It's like, what are you?
Oh,
is this
I don't-
part of your training? Oh, you didn't see this part?
No!
Because that's why he does it later to that guy at the dance.
Oh.
Yeah, they're in the dojo, and Mr. Miyagi's like, yeah, these are all weapons. These are my da-da-da-da-da. And Daniel picks up a rag, and he's like, what's this for? And he goes, well, I'll show you. Drop it on the floor. And he drops on the floor, and Mr. Miyagi bends down to pick it up, and it's like crotch-eye view, and he like goes, huh? He almost punches him, and they have a great laugh about it. And I was like, why is this in this movie?
But that's because he's teaching him a move that we're going to see done later.
He's teaching him a
Aha.
move called sucker nut punch, I think.
With the wet rag. It's called
Right.
the wet rag. Yeah.
Oh, it's called the wet rag. And Daniel's like, would the wet rag work with an empty wallet? I'll see.
I'm going to try it out.
The evil
Oh,
nephew and his
yes.
thugs
When they
come.
rip up all the crops and everything.
Yeah, they like wreck up a garden and they just laugh the whole time. But Miyagi just stands there and stares straight ahead and won't let Daniel do anything.
No, holds it back and is like, come on, you got to just temper it. Watch them ruin their livelihood, the livelihood of the people in this town.
Yeah.
Things have gone to shit in this town since Miyagi arrived.
Yeah, I'm sure it wasn't great before he showed up, but
Yeah.
this is getting really bad. You have to be these villagers are kind of done with him being there.
Yeah, I bet they're like, when are you leaving?
Either leave or be killed. Please,
Yeah.
just something. But Mr. Miyagi even says, he's like, listen, tell Sato that I am not going to fight him. All right? I'm not going to fight him now. I'm not going to fight him in 3 days. I'm not going to fight him later on this afternoon. But he visits him.
Yeah, he goes to his house where Sato is just karate chopping this big old wooden block or wooden tree that Miyagi and him found as kids and now he's got almost enshrined at his house.
Yes.
On these like cement pillars.
It's crazy. Because, again, this guy, get over it. You've been trying to break this board for 45 years as well.
Yeah. What are you up to?
on.
Dude? I love it. Even Miyagi's like, what happened to you? Like, what is going on, bro? Because Miyagi goes there to be like, I let's just bury the hatchet. What is the deal?
Yes.
Like, we should be okay. We are okay. I don't want to hurt you. Let's
Right.
just bury
Like,
this.
I just don't understand. And again, if this happened, there wouldn't be conflict. But any of these characters could just sit down and talk this out. Daniel should be able to sit down with that nephew and be like, listen, dude, you are shredded. You could get any woman in this town. Why are you wasting your time with me?
Yeah.
Like, it shouldn't all be about fighting. You can have a happy life. You could be okay. I'm out of here in a couple days. You can have Miyoko or whatever her name is.
Miyoko. You can have Messy Bun. Have her.
You can have Messy
And you
Bun.
can have your collection of shirts back then if that's what you want.
Right. Thankfully, Daniel gets to go to an American-themed dance to make him feel more comfortable, I guess.
I guess. Or to show off his moves. I like that he says his
Yeah.
mom taught him how to dance. That's how he knows how to dance so well. They have a fun time. Like we said, they dance their little hearts out. The dancing helps Daniel feel better. Again, the punk nephew shows up
Yeah.
here, too.
Well, I do like their little conversation here before this punk shows up, how they sit down and he goes, so are you like, I don't know, like arranged to marry someone? And she's even like, hey, idiot, that's an old custom. That's not a
Yeah.
thing anymore.
Yeah, I'm not.
Ding dong.
I'm not. Yeah.
And just for fun, she asks him if he's arranged. And he's like, no, my old girlfriend was a dirtbag. Now she's
Yeah.
gone. It's awesome. Don't worry about it. And I do like, because the nephew shows up at this point, and in my head, I was thinking the same thing that Daniel says, because he looks around and he's like, oh, come on, man.
Yeah.
Because I was sitting there going, how many more times do I have to watch this?
Where he just shows up wherever they are.
He shows up, punches him, and that's what this movie is. That's what the first movie is, from what I remember. Daniel wanders around, bullies pop up everywhere he is, and beat him up. But this time, they do get the upper hand. They beat him up a little bit, take his money.
Yeah.
But he learned a thing from Mr. Miyagi and the rag trick.
He
Punches
learned
him, punches the other guy, and then they escape in a rusty automobile.
And off they go.
And if you thought, well, maybe we won't see the bullies for at least 30 more seconds. Nope, you're wrong.
They're
Because
back.
they're back, and now they're wrecking potted plants.
Now they're just throwing the potted plants around. Just because, and there's so many of those potted plants. They're just everywhere.
So many. The one guy rips something out of the ground, like a palm tree out of the ground, and goes, "Arr!" and just throws it away.
Now Daniel-san is helpless. Well, what am I going to do? But who shows up right in the nick of time? Miyagi.
Mr. Miyagi. Yes.
And now this is, like we said, for the most part, they don't really show a whole lot of Miyagi fighting. It's more
Right.
like him. But this is a little badass Miyagi fighting that we get to see.
Yeah.
Where he takes all these guys down.
Yeah, it's okay. I mean, I chalk a lot of this up to clever editing, but it's still pretty good because it shows, like, he dispatches of these three guys effortlessly, basically.
Yeah. Like 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
And then I think he looks at Daniel and he's like, "We're gonna leave tomorrow. Like this is all
Right,
getting out of
let's
hand.
Get out of here.
We gotta get out."
I'm gonna make sure
Yeah.
we can use these tickets. We'll
Yeah.
figure it out. I was gonna say this is where Miyagi's lady friend is so broken up about.
Oh
him
yeah.
leaving.
Well, he's packing what looks like a giant bag with her.
Yeah.
And she's so upset, and this is where, like we said before, he's like, "What can I do to ease your heartache?" And she's like,
Right.
"I don't know. Take me with you, baby." I mean,
Oh, no, you big idiot.
that's where you messed up the first time. You even admitted it, and so, and he's like, "Oh, well." Well, Daniel overhears all this, and is like, "Huh."
Huh. I wonder if that guest house is still going to be available.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I wonder if this changes my housing plans. Well, and then Daniel's out there trying to convince his lady friend that she should leave too.
Right.
She's like, "But this is where my home is." And he says, "Home is where you hang your hat, sister,
Oh,
or your messy bun ponytail holder."
home is where you hang your messy bun. Because he's even like, "Hey, you should be a dancer." Earlier, he's like, "You should be a dancer." And she's like, "Well, there's no schools for that here."
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
that's a shame. Maybe you could go to the U.S. Do you? And she even says something like, "Do you think the U.S. would like
Would
me?"
like
He's
me, yeah.
I know parts of it that would. I'm like, all right, okay. I think you're
Yeah.
talking about your crotch, but that's all right. That's
Oh, saucy.
They also see, they almost kiss, but
Yes.
Sato appears to now be bulldozing the entire village.
He's
to
coming
the
out.
ground.
Now he's coming. He's so angry. Now he's
so
going
angry.
to destroy the village. If he can't get Miyagi, he's just going to, he tells
Right.
Miyagi basically, like, "If you don't let me fight you, I'm basically
Yeah.
going to bulldoze this village over, and it'll be
He
gone."
probably called the airport and was like, "He's leaving tomorrow."
Yeah.
What? Great.
Bring the bulldozers. Let's destroy the village. And Miyagi is tore up. He just looks at this village,
Yeah.
and he just can't stand the idea of it being his fault that the village is destroyed.
Right.
So, fine. He agrees. They're going to fight at midnight. I'm like, these two old men need more rest than that. How about like a midday fight?
Yeah.
Wouldn't that
I
be
was like,
better?
don't you want an audience too?
Yeah,
This
midnight.
entire town is full of geriatrics. They're all going to be asleep. What, midnight fight. But Mr. Miyagi says, "Listen, here's the deal. Win or lose, you give the village back to the villagers."
Yeah.
He's
That's-
like, "Okay." And Mr. Miyagi's like, "Okay, great. I'll fight you."
Miyagi gives his last will and testament to Daniel.
What?
He gives
That
him
was
this
so
scroll,
funny.
and Daniel's like, "What is this?" He's like, "It's my will." And Daniel's like, "What the fuck? Why are you doing this?
It's like, wait,
There's got to be a
hold on.
better way."
Has
And
this
he's
been
like, "You get
notarized?
that.
Like,
You
is
get the
this legal?"
house. Yeah. You get the house in California and my truck, and my lady friend gets my house here, and that's just yeah." Daniel's like, "No. This is."
That's not the way that works, but okay. I mean, I don't know. Also, I don't have to go to Fresno.
I found it interesting that Miyagi even had a little bit of doubt in his mind that he could win. I thought Miyagi would be hepped up and feel like, I got this.
Yeah.
But I guess that other guy has so much anger, and Miyagi really doesn't know if he can handle that
Yeah,
level of.
it would have only been better if he's like, "Is that board you've been trying to break for 45 years?" And the guy finally breaks it, and you just see Miyagi be like, "Oh no, I better write my will right now. This very moment. This is not going to end well for me." I do like it how Daniel's even like, "Let's just go now. Let's just go to the airport. Let's just leave." And Miyagi's like, "No, I already won. Like, I already won.
Yeah,
regardless,
I'm the winner.
The village is theirs. I have to do this."
But he really doesn't.
Well, I think he does. He would bulldoze that. He'd blow that town up later that afternoon.
No, I'm saying he really doesn't because the storm comes in, so it weather takes care of things.
I thought you meant he grabs his lady friend and hightails it to the airport.
I mean, no, but we mentioned this before, there's another tea date that happens, and you called it like the soft porn tea sex scene that happens.
Yeah, it's the closest we're going to get in a Karate Kid movie.
Yeah, where and her hair, she lets her hair down. She lets down that messy bun while they have their tea time.
It's this tea passing ceremony, like I'll rotate the cup and you drink out of this side and then I'll wipe it off or something. I don't really know what
and it's just as good as making sweet love. Just as good.
Listen.
You put your penis in the teacup and then I take off my shirt. Yeah.
Stir in the sugar. I mean, here I will draw a comparison that I think is certainly a little more racy, but we already did in our Police Academy 2 episode, we already talked about Ghost, but this is like the pottery wheel equivalent in a children's movie, I guess.
I suppose, yeah, because she does, she's got a seductive napkin folding thing she does,
and it is sweet. They do finally get to kiss, but then suddenly a storm appears
very suddenly. Now, this typhoon had to be coming from. You had to see some storm clouds on the ocean coming. You had to feel some mist in the air. They're at this little outdoor tea area or big whatever. There's a big window there, but candles blow out. The storm is coming, and she's like, "We have got to go."
This is where like I said, I confused this movie with Karate Kid 3 for a little bit, but I remembered parts of this movie. And this is where I went, wait a minute, what is happening with this storm now? Doesn't Ralph Macchio have to fight that guy at a dance? And I looked and there's like 10 minutes left.
Yes!
They pack the end of this movie with so much insane action.
I know, and at first I was like, well, I thought the old men were going to fight. What the hell? But and now I'm like, oh, this is a clever way to get out of watching two old men fight, is have a storm come rip through the town, and now they can't.
It's more clever than that, because Sato's house falls down
on him. And his nephew's like, he's in there and he's dead. Sorry.
He's in there. He's totally dead.
I didn't even try.
I can't believe it. Did you check? No? Look at the house. It fell on that old man. He's dead. But Ralph Macchio and Pat Morita, why am I calling them by their names? They run into the rubble.
Yes.
And
the whole time he's like, "You're a coward! Get away from me, you coward! You're gonna fight me."
This is how you're gonna do it. Yeah. This is how you're gonna finish me off. The only way you can kill me is with a giant beam on me. He's like struggling, like, "I'm still gonna get you. I'm gonna kill." I thought it was hilarious.
Well, then Miyagi does a sweet move. He karate chops that wood off of him because him and Daniel can't lift it, and miraculously he is okay.
He holds his chest for a minute. He's like, "Oof, that was something." Because he punches directly on top of his chest, too. I was like, "That's some controlled pressure." We watched Daniel hit like an ice block in the front, and the next 6 broke. Yeah. But he could just break that wood without caving in this man's chest.
And this is what turns him. This is what is now turning.
It's turning on a light switch.
Yeah. And they all now huddle in this little underground, I don't know.
I thought they were just in another shack, and I was like, that seems super dangerous. You're all going to die.
Well, the whole village is there, I guess, because they just keep collecting. There's a woman with a baby. Miyagi helps the woman with the baby. And then we've mentioned her before, the damn kid on the light post that Daniel has to climb up and save. And the punk kid refuses. The Soto's like, go and help him. Like, and he's just like, no, I might mess up my
No.
hair.
Yeah. And even Sato looks at the kid and he's like, you know what? I am dead to you now.
He goes, I'm dead to you.
You thought I was dead in there. I totally am.
Now I'm dead to you. And the kid uses that later. You're dead to me anyway. Why should I listen to you? I
But
don't
now
even
he
hear
suddenly
you.
Suddenly now becomes ultra evil because we need another villain in this movie. Like, they can't all just be happy that they survived this storm. This dude just runs off into the night.
Yes.
And the next day, they're all cleaning up this village.
Mm-hmm.
Sato's like, oh, that building that collapsed on me, that's where we were going to have the dance. What could we possibly do now? And then Yukumo's like, I have an idea. You know where they used to hold this dance for thousands of years?
Yeah.
Maybe we could have it there. And he's like, hey, everybody, we're going to have the dance there forever.
That's where it should be taking place. That's where it will. And wow, did they get garbed up for this dance?
Sure did.
How fancy is this?
They're dancing around. There's like an inner circle where you walk across a little bamboo bridge to get to it, and
That's lovely.
everybody's dancing. There's like the floaty lanterns are in the water. It looks like a rocking good time.
Yeah, they put it together sweetly.
Until, would you refer to him as Batman shows up?
Well, he does. Well, now what's her name? What's her name? She is going to do her dance. She gets her fan out, and Daniel's all excited. He's like, she's such a great dancer. Wait till you see this dance she's going to do. Miyags, it's going to... Let's just sit here and look at her like earnestly and excitedly because she's going to blow our minds with this dance move. And while she's dancing... from behind her on a zip line.
The way it's shot is hilarious because it's focused on her, but there's so much space beside her. Like, she's pushed all the way to the corner of the frame just so you can see him slowly, oh so slowly slide into this event.
And even Daniel's like, hey, look out behind you. And he takes her and he holds her by, kind of captures her with a knife to her throat.
Yep.
And demands that Daniel fight him.
Yeah.
And move the bridge. That was a big thing, too. Move the bridge.
It is here's what I will say about this movie compared to 1. The end fight in 1 is super famous because of that crane thing. But it's like, it's a fight that has referees, and it's a fight where, like, if you land a punch, you get a point, or if you step out of the circle, you lose a point or something.
Sort of a competition, yeah.
Yeah, so it's kind of boring. This is a really rough fight that Daniel's involved in.
Yeah, they really... At one point, Daniel... Because there's a lot of...
Of course.
And at one point, Daniel goes, that hurt. Did you hear that?
I did not hear that.
He says, that really hurt.
How about how this guy lays out Yukumo with his fist? Like, he turns around and wallops her, and she is down for the count.
Yes, well, and the whole crowd's like, oh. Because, now, if this guy thought he had a bad reputation to begin with, he's just hit a girl, messed up their whole little town party that they're having. But yeah, they get into it. There's Daniel gets a little bloody.
He tries his crane thing.
Yeah, that was a massive
this guy's
failure.
like, get that shit out of here, basically. He like blocks it and punches him.
Yeah, that was, I think he looks at Miyagi too before he does it, like, I'm going to do the crane, and doesn't work out
Miyagi,
so well.
You know about this, right? You know about this crane thing? This crane thing that you taught me? Who else would possibly know this is a thing? Oh, that guy that trained with your dad that also trained his nephew?
Yeah.
Maybe.
They might know. They might. Well, then, to rally the entire audience, I thought the drum just belonged to, or you said the drum just belonged to...
That's what I thought.
Yeah.
I thought there was one in the world.
No. The whole audience has one. They were giving him out as favors at this party. And they all start beating their little drum. And suddenly, he's got some energy. He's jazzed. He's ready to fight.
And he does the drum thing. He puts his own little spin on it with... Where Miyagi's like, hey, this drum thing, it's all about avoiding being hit. And Daniel's like, oh, you mean it's all about punching people mercilessly?
Right, just left, right. Like, you just keep punching until, I guess that's his own spin.
Yeah, and this Shozen guy is powerless against this. It is just, he is walloping this guy. There's blood, his face is so bloody.
Oh.
So he has him, and he has what does he say?
Live or
Death?
die.
Live or die.
Live or die,
And
man.
Shosen's like, die. Like, totally kill me. You
Yeah.
have now humiliated me again. There's nothing you could possibly do that's any more humiliating. And Daniel's like, really?
Yes, I can.
I'm going to honk your nose, dude, in front of everyone. You're going to commit suicide later. That's how
Honk,
this
honk.
ends for you. He honks his nose. This is an abrupt ending to this movie.
Yeah.
Because Yukimo gets up, they embrace, he looks at Pat Morita, winks like, we got it, dude. Fade to black credits.
That's it. Fast
Done.
credits, too. Done. Miyagi's so proud.
Wow.
And that's Karate Kid Part 2.
That is.
Summer of sequels.
Do.
I mean, I enjoyed this. I don't know how you felt. I mean, I kind of know
enjoyed
how
it
you.
too.
I
Yeah,
liked
mean,
it.
It wouldn't be like a super high recommendation, but I would say if you haven't seen the second one ever, like if you just stopped after the first one, I'm sure there are people out there that have done it. It's super different. I think I liked it more as an adult than I did as a kid. Like I think as a kid I was like, oh, we have to watch Pat Morita walk around with his old girlfriend. What fun is that? I kind of appreciated it now.
I liked it. Yeah, no.
Yeah.
And I dug the message in it. I liked.
What was the message in it?
Well, I mean,
I'm sorry.
well, here I'll go into my recommendation because I've got.
Oh, okay,
You
yeah,
know
do
me.
it, do it.
I've got two recommendations. One is something I hadn't seen, and one is not a movie. So you know.
Okay.
So one is I haven't seen that Cobra Kai. I think it's the YouTube
Yeah, I haven't seen it
show,
either, yeah.
but I've heard great things, and now after seeing this and enjoying it, I really do want to see it. So I'm recommending to myself that I see it.
Okay.
And the other one is I just listened to this. It was on a podcast, but it's also downloadable on this lady's website. This Tara Brock is her name, and she's a mindfulness meditation teacher.
Okay.
And it was all about anger transformation, so that you don't stay in your anger, you transform it into something better. And being angry, that emotion really serves no purpose. And it was sort of like what Miyagi, the whole point of Miyagi's whole like teaching is like, yeah, you can't, violence isn't necessary and anger is not okay, and it doesn't help us get where we want to go, and honk honk, and there you go. So her name is Tara Brock, if anyone's into it. She's a great little teacher of meditation and such, and she's got a whole website, and this one particular anger transformation was a great listen, and you know,
Wow. Okay, that's
there
good.
you go, and Cobra Kai.
I like that.
I'm gonna see that.
And
Anyway.
something I know a lot about and something I haven't seen.
Okay.
All right. Excellent. My recommendation is a movie called, I don't know that I'm getting the name right. It's either
Oh, boy.
Sonatine or Sonatine.
Okay.
I've never heard anybody say it, so I don't know how to say it. It's from 1993. It's a movie by Takeshi Kitano. It's the last part of a trilogy that he made. The other movies are called Violent Cop and Boiling Point.
Oh boy.
And it's a pretty depressing like meditation on the end of a gangster's life. It's about a Yakuza guy. And the reason I'm recommending it is because his character is sent to Okinawa in the movie to sort of like handle a dispute between two gangs. But he starts to think like he's being set up because he wants to get out of the life and everything. And most of the movie takes place on the beaches of Okinawa.
And here we are, same setting.
And it's really good. It's
It
a
is
good
quite a
movie.
lovely
It's-
setting. Yeah.
I know. Yeah, I mean, it was in Hawaii, but still,
Well, either way.
either way. My other recommendation is go to Hawaii. Why not? All right. So great. This is good. I was, not that I was afraid for our summer of sequels, but after Chuck Norris and after Police Academy, I was kind of getting a little bit nervous
Sure.
that it might just be a slog the whole way. But it's, you know what? We're hitting, 33% right now. So
Yeah.
let's go.
Let's just keep on.
And I don't know how this next one's going to go, but let's talk about it because, Jamie, it's time to do our camp movie.
Oh, it's summer camp time. Summer camp,
Yes.
summer camp.
So
What's
for
our sequel?
for new listeners, every summer we do a camp movie. We alternate because there's so many horror camp movies. I didn't want to do it every year, but we alternate between horror movies and not horror movies. And it's time for a horror movie, Jamie.
Here it comes.
And I could go through with the different camp movies we've done, because last time we did Party Camp, which was really terrible.
Oh, it was the worst. Oh,
and
that
even
was terrible.
before that, what was the one we did before that? The horror one, Cheerleader Camp. We did that. That was pretty bad too.
With Leif Garrison or whatever, Leif Garrett.
Leif Garrett.
Yeah.
Yep. Our second summer, we did a little movie called Sleepaway Camp.
Yeah, we did. Yeah, we did. Changed my life.
Super Fun changed your life. I still think it's the most fun episode we've ever done. I still think it was the most fun movie we've watched for this podcast. You know, people could argue with me about that, but I will always go back to that. If people say, what should I listen to? I always say, start with that episode.
Sleepaway Camp.
Because if you love that episode and what we do, fine, you're in. If you hate it, don't listen to any other episode of this
then
podcast.
we're not your bag. We're not your bag then. Yeah.
But there were a couple sequels made. So we're going to watch Sleepaway Camp 2, Unhappy Campers.
Oh, boy.
So I don't want you to get too excited.
Okay.
I don't just temper those expectations.
I will. I'm keeping them low.
Angela's a little bit older.
Yeah.
And she's no longer played by the wonderful Felissa Rose.
Oh.
She is played by Pamela Springsteen. Yes, that's right. Bruce's sister.
Hey.
Yes. And also, in doing just the least bit of research, it also stars Charlie Sheen's sister, Renee Estevez.
So these sisters like to get together for a little sleepaway camp, too.
I guess. So, listeners, Jamie, pack your bug spray,
I'm ready.
Butcher knife, whatever you need to bring.
Dangers abound.
Yeah, because...
Don't bring your shirt. Is it that kind of sleepaway camp?
Oh, please. There's going to be no shirts, definitely.
Okay, great.
Although I don't think there was any nudity in Sleepaway. Well, okay, hold on until the end.
Yeah.
I think before the end, it was nudity free. Oh my God. Remember when that guy said, I'll be right there, I got to take a wicked dump? Oh, Sleepaway Camp. So that is what we're going to talk about in 2 weeks' time. Sleepaway Camp 2, Unhappy Campers, as our summer of sequels rolls on, everybody.
Continues.
So until then, have a great They do the lantern.
So tearful.
My dog is sneezing. Did you hear that?
Oh, I thought I heard something.
Okay. They do. Any more? Got any more? Well done.
Oh! It's got allergies.
All right. Anyway.